Streaming all across the country, from Washington State to South Beach and the Northeast to the deserts of Arizona, to dive into all things football. You're listening to the B&E Podcast. Here's your hosts, Ed Donaldson and Brandon Simpson.
It's a new year, but there's still plenty of football left. Welcome to our latest show presented by Prehemium. Bucs, they finally clinched the NFC South, while the Giants are playoff bound for the first time since 2016. Ed, how was your holiday?
It was, Michigan lost, Commanders lost. I think they're probably going to be eliminated from the playoffs. So other than that, it wasn't too bad. How about you? How was yours, man?
It was good till last night. And actually, the week before wasn't really impressive because they played the Falcons, but they ran the ball, but other than that, it wasn't nothing impressive. They still kind of let what's the guy down there, the rookie quarterback, Desmond Ridder, look like, he was in his second or third year, on the uprise. But other than that, it was good.
I think I told you, I was like, you might hear Tyler Allgeier's name a little bit in that game as well. But yeah, that's how it goes. I always say it's always next year with these sorry ass Commanders, and I'm gonna get into them a little bit later for some other reasons. Mascot, God. Let's get into this opening drive. It's a short one. Falcons practice squad player Cameron Batson was arrested for allegedly failing a sobriety test, fighting a cop, and fleeing the scene. This cop he got in a fight with also shot at him as he was trying to escape. So I don't know what this dude was on, but he might do some serious time for that. That's crazy. Yeah. You sent me that story. I was shocked just reading it. Also, quarterback Josh Dobbs will start again for the Titans against the Jacksonville Jaguars next week. It's not a good look for Malik Willis. I know he's a rookie, but shows he's not ready yet. So they picked him for being the quarterback of the future. Hopefully, we'll be ready by next year, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yep, turning the page, everyone. One last weekend of regular season football is right around the corner. That means Black Monday is on the horizon as well. That's when many of the owners choose to part ways with their coaches and start the process of finding new leadership. So Ed and I, we're going to tell you who we feel like are about to coach in their final games with their respective teams next weekend. I got two, I think, kind of obvious ones. I'm going to go with them in a second, but I got a little bit of surprise here. I think Kevin Stefanski is on the hot seat for the Browns. I know that the quarterback, Deshaun Watson, was suspended for 11 games. They were kind of competitive there for a while, but I just got a feeling that it was all, was it sunshine and roses? I guess that's the terms I'm looking for early on. That first year with him, they came out the gates. I think they made the playoffs in his first year. It looked like everything was going good with him and Baker and company. And then the team traded away the top two receivers, or they cut one or let one go. Was it Jarvis Landry just let go in free agency? And then
the Saints.
Was it Odell Beckham was traded, if I'm not mistaken?
Traded to the Rams.
Yeah. So they still got the running backs. I think Kareem Hunt will be gone. He hasn't been used much this year. Of course, Nick Chubb is still doing his thing. I just got in the back of my mind, this could be one of those surprise ones. Turning the page, Mike Vrabel. This was a team I kind of thought was overrated heading into the season. The GM was fired just a few weeks ago. The team has dropped 6 straight games. They're heading into a win and end situation, which is crazy after dropping all these games that they could still get into the playoffs. But they're headed down to Duval and the Jaguars cut the Colts' playoff hopes short last year, and this time they have more motivation because they can actually win and get in as well and win the South. I think Mike Vrabel will be gone if they lose this game and they drop their 7th straight game. And then Arthur Smith, he was also on the hot seat as well heading into 2022, in my opinion. I kind of thought Mariota was an upgrade over Matt Ryan, but they still have questions at the quarterback position. I know they lost Kyle Pitts around midseason, but he wasn't really doing that much either. You still have Cordell Patterson. You traded away Calvin Ridley and right before the trade deadline. I know he's been out with the last year and a half, basically 2 years or whatever. But they just, what's that?
Picking up what you said of Calvin Ridley, he's suspended for like gambling or something too.
Yeah, Correct.
Yeah.
So they still, they just been on the short end of the stick a lot of games this year. They've been in those games, but at the end of the day, you're an owner, or you're in the top brass, the team president, all that stuff. You're looking at wins and losses at the end of the day, and it just haven't. Him coming over from Tennessee when they had that Derrick Henry run game, they kind of thought that was gonna move over and the offense was gonna click on all cylinders with Arthur Smith, and it just hadn't. It hadn't been like that. It's kind of been, they just been like sitting still. And honestly, if the NFC South wasn't so pathetic, they would be, I think, even more on blast on how bad they are, in my opinion. But who do you have? Who do you think might be coaching their last game this weekend?
I'm gonna go in the NFC West. Cliff Kingsbury. I think he might be on his way out. You look at the season, Kyler Murray did get hurt. Fortunately, he blew his knee out. But before that, it was a trouble in paradise. Just even to begin the season, I don't want to say, maybe this wasn't all on Kingsbury, but, that rumor came out with the stuff in the contract, how Kyler has to practice at least or study at least 4 hours a week or something like that. That was a lot of negative feedback on that, negative press on that. And then I don't know if you remember, he got into it with the coach a little bit on the sideline a couple of games, telling him to calm down and other stuff like that. So maybe that relationship has soured between Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury. And then just look at the record overall. Kyler goes down, then they kind of just take a tail dive. Same thing kind of happened last year. Kyler went down for a few games at the end of the season, and they kind of fell off the wagon there. And they started off really good last year. I think they were like 8-0 or something crazy like that before everything went crazy, if I'm not mistaken. But I don't know. I think Kingsbury is on his way out. They'll probably want to get something new for Kyler going forward whenever he gets healthy. It just go in a different direction. I don't know. I don't want to say he lost the locker room, but I don't know. It just seems like those guys doesn't seem like they're ready to play with that coach anymore. The other coach, I'm going to move it back over to the NFC East. Ron Rivera, it's hard, man, just because the stuff he has to put up with the owner, the whole investigation thing with the cheerleaders and all that, the Sean Taylor jersey fiasco, just a whole bunch of bad press coming out of damn Washington. And then he's got to coach a team. He's got Carson Wentz and Taylor Heineke as the quarterbacks. And, I think it's time to move on, coach. You beat cancer. It was good for you there. This has been a rough year, man. I think you coming over here, man, it might have took some damn years off your life. I know it's stressful dealing with the shit you had to put up with.
You're right.
But it hasn't worked out on the field. A lot of bonehead calls, a lot of bonehead plays, a lot of bonehead decisions. Future reference for that. But it just, I don't know. I can see Ron leaving us soon. And it might be good for both parties, for him and for the franchise. And then some, guys I think who are close to getting on the hot seat. Robert Saleh from the Jets. I know they 7-8, or was 7-9 now. They were started out pretty good. Brees Hall got injured, but second year in a row, Robert, I think the seat, you got another year. Hopefully you get that quarterback situation figured out, but I think it's going to start getting simmering for you, in my opinion. You got any guys you think next year are going to be getting a simmering hot seat?
I'd have to look at there'll be a curveball there. Honestly, I think if still, and I know it's kind of going in a circle, but if Tennessee retains Mike Vrabel, he'll be on the hot seat heading into next year. Let's see.
Let me ask you a question. What about Mike Tomlin? Because people.
I think he's safe.
You don't think so?
Yeah, I think he's safe.
I got you.
Sean McVay might be on the hot seat. I know they had a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
I guess it kind of depends on the quarterback situation because they're, and they get all them guys back. They didn't even start off the year good. You know what I'm saying? They struggled out the gate. So, yeah, I think that, here's another one. And I think he might be gone this year too, especially if they can talk him into coming back, is Dennis Allen there in New Orleans. If the rumors of Sean Payton coming back are starting to come swirl even more, and of course they hold the rights to him anyway. And the owner said that she didn't want to have Dennis Allen around just to like coach in a sense until Sean Payton comes back, but they haven't really done much this year. Yeah, they're 7-9, but you mentioned the fact that Jameis Winston should have been starting over Andy Dalton, and I don't think there's anybody that disagrees with that. I don't think Jameis Winston is much better than Andy Dalton, but he gives you a better chance to win than him. But he chose to go with stay with Andy Dalton at that rate. So yeah, I think that Dennis Allen and Sean McVay could be on the hot seat heading into next year.
Gotcha. We'll see what happens.
Yep. All right, so turning the page, everyone. Not so sunny in Miami right now. The Dolphins dropped another game on Sunday, this time to the Patriots by 2. Just a tough break for the Dolphins. They've now lost 5 in a row. They were in for a tough one without Tua, despite his 3-interception game on Christmas. Another concussion, I believe, for him was a prognosis last week, if I'm not mistaken. Teddy got hurt, but he didn't have a bad game. Just another thing for Miami, when Raheem Mostert, the running back, is your leading receiver, and you have Jalen and Tyreek on the roster, it's not a good thing. But a typical game for the Patriots under Bill Belichick. They struggled offensively, but they find a way to pull it out. Mac and Cheese, he did what he needed to. Nothing too flashy, but he didn't make the mistakes that plagued him early in the year. New England, they're in a winning end situation next week, which is surprising when I heard that. But this Patriots defense, I've been impressed with them all year long. They helped out a lot yesterday, and their 7 defensive touchdowns on the season are the most in franchise history. So yeah, New England winning their end next week. They have the let's see, New England. They're at the Bills next week, who could still be fighting for that 1 seed. So that'll be an interesting one to see next Sunday. What do you got on this game?
Yeah, man, I was feel bad for the Dolphins a little bit, man, because they got off to a hot start. I started believing in Tua, then he just started getting banged up, these concussions. Worried about his future going forward, how they're gonna interact with him. But Teddy Bridgewater came in, and he also gets the injury bug a lot. He I think he hurt his hand, and Skylar Thompson had to come in, and offense was pretty much not doing too much with Teddy. Then Skylar came in, like you said, that Patriots defense, they kind of jumped all over him. Kyle Duggar picked him off, had a pick 6. And like you said, mac and cheese, blah. Damn Kraft mac and cheese.
Yeah.
But Patriots, they were able to get the job done. We'll see if they can beat the Bills next week. Hopefully the Bills crush them. That's what I expect. I think they'll still be fighting for the number 1 seed, in my opinion, so they'll have a reason to play. So we'll see what happens. As far as the Dolphins, though, it's going to be tough, man. I don't know. Tua's had 3 concussions, and one of them you could visibly see him affected by it. Actually, 2 of them. One of them they try to say it was like a back injury, but that looked like he was wobbly from getting his head rung. And that second one was even worse. So I'm kind of worried about his future going forward. Hopefully he can stay healthy and even after football, because I'm starting to get serious with those head hits he's taking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So let's go over to the AFC West. Chiefs beat the Broncos 27-24. I can't remember the last time the Broncos beat the Chiefs. I think we talked about it before. That Mahomes is like undefeated against them since he's played in the damn league. But Broncos hung around. Russell Wilson ran for a touchdown. You say he looked like John Elway.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know that was Russ. I was like, what running back is that? I was like, oh shit, that's Russ. So he shocked me a little bit. I think I told you, I said the Broncos might hang around for a little bit. We'll see. And it kind of did. You mentioned it. Patrick Mahomes, he threw a rare red zone interception, and it was that kind of day for the Chiefs where they couldn't put the team away, but they did just enough to win. Jerick McKinnon, again, is like, I don't know if guys don't pay attention to him, but this is like his 6th damn receiving touchdown in like 5 games. The guy just, I don't know. I know he's fast, but it just seems like people forget about him a lot. But yeah, this is a I think another good win for the Chiefs. These type of games get you prepared for the playoffs. And we'll see what happens going forward. Broncos, this is the first game without Coach Nathaniel Hackett. Broncos, they got a lot of heat this week. Russ is getting a lot of heat from everybody. You know, Shannon Sharp was going crazy on him, but a lot of people going crazy on him. Shannon Sharp was saying how former teammates didn't like him and how he's got the second office or his own office, his own parking space, and blah, blah, blah. Wow. Some guys kind of stepped up for him. Jerry Jeudy, I know he came out and said something in defense of Russ. I think they kind of rallied around Russ this week. They played better, but it just wasn't enough to beat the Chiefs. Brandon, what did you think about this one?
Yeah, surprisingly close game here. Divisional game, as you mentioned, certainly hasn't been a rivalry as of late. Like you said, I think Kansas City has won now 15 straight over Denver, 15 or 16, somewhere in that range. Of course, you mentioned Patrick Mahomes undefeated against Denver. He owns them like Aaron Rodgers owns the Bears. But shout out to our former special teams coach, Jerry Rosberg, used to be in Baltimore. He's the interim head coach there, kept things close, saw him fired up on the sidelines when he needed to be and everything. Kind of rejuvenated Russell Wilson. Hadn't done much all season until yesterday. Got sacked 4 times, but again, got in the end zone twice. That I remember texting you about the run there. His upper body structure and everything looked just like John Elway in that first Super Bowl when he dove in for that touchdown. I know, they were hard on John Elway back then too, because he hadn't won a Super Bowl. Of course, Denver's nowhere near a Super Bowl this year, 4-12, long eliminated from the playoffs. But yeah, hats off to the Denver defense on the other side of the ball. They shut down the Kansas City run game, and it's been improving as of late, especially with Isaiah Pacheco. As you mentioned, Jerick McKinnon, he's in my notes too, continues to be a threat in the passing game. 2 scores through the air. Yet again, Kansas City is undefeated in their division as of now. They got one more game against the division foe next week, back into the 1 seed pending the Cincinnati Buffalo game as of Monday Night Football. I expect them to play their starters next week for sure. This is not the type of team to rest. In a sense, they like to be firing on all cylinders in the groove heading into the postseason. And next week they will play Kansas City. Oh yeah, they got flexed to the Saturday night game at the Raiders. So yeah, they should again, undefeated in their division, they should handle the Raiders there. With the Raiders don't have anything to play for, honestly.
Gotcha. All right, so let's go over to the NFC South. The Bucs beat the Panthers 30-24. They clinched the NFC South. Tom Brady and Mike Evans had a hell of a game. Yeah. Mike Evans had over 200 yards, 10 receptions, and 3 touchdowns. And Tom Brady, 400 yards through the air, had a touchdown scrambling. I guess it's cemented that he's like the best scrambling QB in the league, if you want to call him that, just for like 1-yard runs. But yeah, man, up and down season for the Bucs and for Tom personally, but they won the South anyway. You can't say it is probably the weakest division of football, but they win the South. I think they get a home game. They might get a bye if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember. I gotta look up the playoff.
No, just the home game.
Okay, gotcha. Just a home game, but still, I don't know if even though they're probably like the last seed in the playoffs, it's Tom Brady,
Yep.
So I know a lot of teams will be like, "Damn, I hope we got to play them in the playoffs." I would probably feel that way anyway. What you got in this game though?
Yeah, the Panthers, they were given every opportunity to win this game. They went up 14-0 on Tom Brady in Tampa. Then came Sam Darnold and his mistakes, tossed the interception. He fumbled on a bonehead play. I was just like I think I texted you, every time I turn to this game, the drive stalls for them or they turn the ball over. So I just stopped turning to it because I was really intrigued in it because I did pick Carolina. They've been playing good lately. So I kind of thought they were going to go in there and upset Tampa Bay, but not to mention another fumble he had later in the game. They struggled, Carolina did, to get the run game going, but DJ Moore made up for it. Had a couple great catches, including a 47-yarder. He cracked 100 yards in all. But yeah, as Tampa Bay heads into the playoffs, if I'm a Bucs fan, I definitely don't want Tom Brady dropping back 45 times again. That's his age, not the amount of times he should be backing up in the pocket for sure. Yeah, they have nothing to lose next week, so I'm pretty sure they'll be resting starters. They can't move up in the standings, and they can't move down. They're locked in at that 4 seed no matter what because of their lousy conference, their lousy record overall compared to the top 3 seeds.
I got you. I don't know.
Yep.
I think Tom said he wanted to play next week, but he'll leave it up to the coach. But I think he wants to play. They'll probably get because I know they've been banged up on the O line as well. Ryan Jensen, their center.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he's getting closer to coming back, right? Yeah.
He's practicing now, so they might be able to have him back by the time playoffs start. He probably a little rusty since he hasn't played the whole damn season, but I know that's somebody Tom would probably like to see snapping the ball to him. So I know the center they had now, he came over originally as a guard, so that's not even his original position. So we'll see how that goes moving forward. But yeah, let me ask you this. I think Steve Wilkes, if he would have won this game, he has a good chance of being a coach next season, but I think his chances of being a coach next season are slim to none. What about you? You think he'll be back as a coach for Carolina?
Yeah, I agree. Very slim. They squandered the chance yesterday to take control of that division, despite of everything that's happened. Yeah, like you said, there's going to be other candidates out there that we've been talking about it the past few years. DeMeco Ryans is someone that's interesting. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure who other hot candidates there are.
Always Eric Bieniemy. He's always out there.
Yeah. And surprisingly, his name has been quiet this year. I actually haven't heard many candidates at all. That's why I was like, I don't know who else is out there besides DeMeco. But yeah, I'd be surprised if they bring them back for sure at this rate, especially after this loss. And yeah, it was just one loss, but they definitely wet the bed in this game, honestly. And as a coach, you get the blame for that.
Yeah.
All right, everyone, you're watching the B&E podcast presented by Prehemium, RELAX. We all remember that from Aaron Rodgers a few years ago, and Green Bay fans are relaxing now, knowing they're in control of their own destiny after they slaughtered the Vikings 41-17. Man, Green Bay won this game on defense and special teams. It was the first time since 1967, if I'm not mistaken, they scored on a pick six and a kickoff return for a touchdown. 3 interceptions and a forced fumble recovered by Green Bay. One of those interceptions was returned 75 yards for the touchdown. I believe it was Savage on that interception return. Yeah, Darnell Savage. Yep. And then on special teams, Kashawn Nixon returned the kickoff 105 yards for the score. And that was moments after Green Bay had turned the ball over on downs and Minnesota had scored a field goal. So what a way to take the momentum right back from Minnesota at that point. They got ahead, Green Bay did. They never looked back. And then it's what was on the mind of everybody going into this game and during the game was Jair Alexandria versus Justin Jefferson. And early in the week, he said that the previous game was a fluke. I think it was like 180 some yards, if I'm not mistaken. And Jair backed it up, and then he even did the gritty on him.
Man, Justin Jefferson was pissed.
Yeah, just a tough break for them. And he's lucky that Justin Jefferson, that right after that gritty play, if I'm not mistaken, it might have been another one, he almost started to take off his helmet, and his elbow hit the referee on the backside. But luckily that ref wasn't, because they don't mess around with that. You can't touch the refs nowadays. But it's surprising none of the other refs even called that one, because they obviously there were eyes on that spot because that's where the ball was at the end of the play. But yeah, Green Bay, very tough task next weekend against a good Detroit team. Shocking we could say that Green Bay Detroit is going to be a competitive game for playoff implications for both teams. But Green Bay, you win and you're in. At home too, I think I'm going with the Packers already at this point. I think, again, that'll be their Lambeau Field, and they've won 4 straight games. Yeah, did you catch any of this game?
Yeah. Speaking of that play you're talking about where Justin Jefferson almost hit the ref, that play was off of an interception too, and I think Justin Jefferson slipped on the ground, so I know he was frustrated from that.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if you remember, right before he took his helmet off and barely missed the ref, Jair kind of shoved him in the back, like pushed him, like, yeah.
You're right.
So I don't know if he knew who it was, but I know he was probably even more pissed that someone shoved him in the back. So I thought it was funny just seeing those two interact. I think Justin Jefferson caught a ball and did the like first down celebration, and Jair kind of got in his face a little bit. So It was fun seeing those two go back and forth, interact during the game. But like I said a couple of weeks ago, these Vikings are frauds, boy.
Yeah.
A lot of people were saying that too.
Yep.
Now I do want to say this is just a bad game. They lost two of their starting linemen, I think, in the first quarter. Their center went down, and this center that came in, boy, he must have been seeing a goddamn like a deer headlights. Because I remember he had like 2 or 3 penalties in a row. I think he had like a delay of game, and then he had a holding penalty. every time I looked up, a flag out there. Foul number 72 the Vikings. He just said that like, man. This is a bad game. This is a bad game for him. But yeah, man, the Vikings, they got Molly Wop. Kirk Cousins throwing pick sixes. The defense, I think we could have went out there and got some catches on that damn defense.
He got benched too.
Man, they are dead last. And I think passing, I think they might be dead last in total defense, 31st. But Vikings, y'all got some problems. I think y'all one and done. I think y'all one and done in these playoffs. I honestly do. Great win for the Packers. They got the Lions next week. That's going to be a good game. Both of those guys have chances to make the playoffs. So I know this is basically a playoff game for them.
True.
I'm going to be interested to see that one. I'm on a fence. I need some time. I have a pick by next week who I think will win against that one. But yeah, other than that, great win for the Packers. Vikings got to get back to the drawing board. I think next week, does it even matter who they play? I mean, playoffs wise, I don't think it really matters for them. They got Chicago, so I think it'll be like a tune-up game for them maybe if they don't.
Oh, Minnesota, yeah.
So yeah, the Vikings. So yeah, we'll see. We will see. Let's go back to the West Coast. You got a team that used to play in the Bay Area going against the 49ers. The Niners beat the Raiders 37-34. Jarrett Stidham was the starting quarterback for the Raiders in this one. Derek Carr got benched, and I think he's going to be away from the team. They said he unfollowed the team on social media.
Damn.
Brandon, what'd you see in this game?
Yeah, I'm going to pick it up in the fourth quarter where because I was watching the split screen, but as the Green Bay game got out of hand, I kind of switched to this one because it was more competitive, obviously, at the end. Jordan Mason, he had his first career touchdown for San Fran to put him ahead of a score just outside of 2 minutes in the game. I believe that was a long touchdown as well. And then I remember, the Raiders got the ball back, and they noted how San Fran, they hadn't allowed any points in the final 2 minutes of regulation. And it was kind of like a jinx because Stidham led Vegas right down the field on a quick drive. Josh Jacobs took it in on a run. What a season he's having. Again, by the way, I called him out early in the year, and he's definitely been stepping up. And then that just over a minute left, Brandon Ayuk, he had a good catch there. Ball kind of floated in the air because of the pressure. And then the guy missed the game-winning field goal there for the Raiders. For San Fran. And then it goes into overtime, everyone. Stidham completely underthrew a pass that sailed into the air, all because of the Bosa pressure. Bull Rush, the offensive tackle, just backed right into the guy. And San Fran intercepts it. They returned it down to the 4-yard line. And Robbie Gould redeemed himself from 23 yards for the win. And Brock Purdy, the legend, Cinderella story in a sense, continues to go on. He's the first quarterback since Big Ben to win his first 4 starts. I'm sure you saw this. Any of this?
Yeah, Devontae Adams had a great day. I wonder how long he's going to miss Derek Carr if he has games like that with Stidham, who I think made a great case for him to be the starter for next year because it's obvious they're going to move on from Derek Carr. So I'm guessing they'll probably try to get somebody in free agency. I've been hearing Tom Brady's name.
True.
They'll probably also draft somebody as well, but I think Jarrett Stidham will be in a mix. Josh McDaniels, they have a lot of history together.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how that goes going forward. But back to this game, I wanted to see how Brock Purdy would do. Like you said, the legend continues to grow. they can't call him Mr. Irrelevant now. He's
yep.
definitely a relevant guy who they'll have to make a decision for next year. I'm sure Trey Lance will be healthy by the time the season starts next year, but the way this kid Brock Purdy's playing right now, it's going to be interesting to see who comes out to be the quarterback next year. But yeah, great win. Christian McCaffrey, since he's been with the Niners, man, they just been on another level. I think they're 7-1 with him. He's been doing crazy things. He got like 700 yards since he's been with the team. If he's been with this team, you know, the whole season, who knows? He might be like Offensive Player of the Year, maybe the MVP. The way he's playing, they can use him all kinds of ways. Kyle Shanahan, I figured, make this guy look like a beast, and that's certainly been the case so far. But George Kittle, he's starting to catch hot at the end of the season. He's been dealing with the injury bug, but these last few weeks he's been on a roll. I think he's scored like a touchdown. He's like last 3 straight games. Brandon Ayuk, as you mentioned, that defense, Nick Bosa, I think he's probably going to get Defensive Player of the Year. Just the way he's been playing. He didn't have a sack this game, but like you said, he kind of made the game-winning play. That bull rush into the quarterback, making that interception happen. And then, like you said, Robbie Gould won the game, kind of redeemed himself. I know I was like, when he missed, I was like, wow, he missed that? 41 yards. He's a reliable guy. So we'll see. But Brock Purdy, I wanted to see, okay, is this guy really like that? Can he like lead a team on a comeback? And he kind of did that. His numbers, you look at his numbers, they're not like, he wasn't throwing the ball over the damn place, but when they needed him to make a play, he did make a play. So salute to him for that. I don't know how the hell that ball, like you mentioned, he caught it in the air, but it was like a damn duck, because I think he got hit when he threw it. I don't know how the hell that get intercepted. But this is a great game though. Great game.
Man, slugfest in the Charm City. It ended well for the Pittsburgh Steelers. It was the 33rd all-time meeting between John Harbaugh and Mike Tomlin. He took the bragging rights on Sunday Night Football. First things first, of course, I have my terrible towel behind me. Yes, I'm a Ravens fan with a terrible towel. I gotta, that's as a football fan, I wanted one. But yeah, rest in peace to the great running back for the Steelers, Franco Harris. He died just a few days before their 50th anniversary of the Immaculate Reception. And when the Steelers were set to honor him with the jersey retirement as well, kind of surprised that they didn't have his jersey retired. I was kind of shocked. I knew it was the 50th anniversary, but I thought they had already, as great of a player as he was, I thought they would already had his jersey retired. But anyway, nobody will ever wear 32 again in Pittsburgh. Class act, great player again. Our thoughts are with his family and loved ones. Turning my attention to the game, I kind of ate my words. A few weeks ago, I said that Pittsburgh wouldn't end the season on a losing record because it's never happened with Tomlin. I think you were on the same page. And with doing so, they had to beat us at least one of these games, and they came into Baltimore and beat us after we went in there and dominated them the same way they beat us Sunday night on the ground. But we lost this game because of defense. You would have thought it was Halloween instead of New Year's Day, because the first half we let Kenny Pickett look like Peyton Manning. In the second half, we let him look like Patrick Mahomes, man, especially on that final touchdown, man.
Chris Collinsworth. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. Tell me some need to call the exorcist because Najee Harris is possessed. I'm like, well, if I could come through that damn screen and slap the hell out of you or take that mic from you, I would. Just shut up. Damn. But yeah, it's bad. What you say?
I said, that's your boy, Chris Collinsworth.
Yeah, it's my boy. Yeah. It's bad when we get a free touchdown thanks to the Cam Hayward penalty in the first half. And then Justice Hill returns the kickoff return to the Pittsburgh 40 in the second half, setting us up on a short field, and we still lose. I mean, that first half touchdown was a gimme. Again, that penalty probably shouldn't have been called. And then again, it's something about that when we just crossed midfield this year, that 50 midfield to about the 38, 37 yard line, we just cannot get anything going. And that's exactly where that ball was at, that 40-yard line, and had to settle for the field goal. And of course, it came down to a field goal at the end. But yeah, I can deal with the 400 passing yard games we had early this year and the 100, 200 yard receiving games that like Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill had up on us and a couple other guys. But when we get dominated on the ground, 198 yards, I mean, they might as well have given them the 2 extra yards because we wouldn't have been able to stop it any damn way. I mean, all honestly, it was just nothing we could do to stop that run game last night. And you would have thought it was going to be an all Najee Harris. And then the guy was named Jalen Warren. I never even heard of him. He just comes out. Yeah, we could. Oh my God. It's embarrassing. Like, we've always prided ourselves on stopping the run. But yeah, Najee Harris, we got something for your ass next time we play. I ain't gonna forget this. All right. You sitting there barking at our players. And yeah, both guys were barking, but I got to defend my guy.
Yeah, it was a little chippy out there.
Both guys were a little chippy, both sides and everything. And then after that touchdown, he gonna run up to the end zone where the fans were sitting. Of course, they were flicking them off and everything. But yeah, we got something for your ass next time we play you, for sure. But end of the day, classic Steelers-Ravens game, 3 to 4 point outcome, bruising game. Every Ravens-Steelers game has a missed field goal. A lot of people don't always realize that either. Oswell missed that field goal in that game as well. But yeah, besides not being able to stop the run, this game only hurt us because we dropped to the number 6 seed. We would have been facing Jacksonville if Jacksonville wins next week, but now we'll face the Bengals. Of course, we play the Bengals in week 18 coming up on Sunday. I'm pretty much counting that as a loss. It's in Cincinnati, but I do feel like we can beat them in the playoffs that third go around, because I don't think they're going to allow us to sweep them in the regular season. I think we can get them in the playoffs.
With or without Lamar?
Either way.
Wow. Okay.
Either way. I don't fear Joe Mixon recently against us. I think we found a way to stop him. If we get Calais Campbell back, I think that was a big factor. It was kind of embarrassing that he was the only guy really missing in that front 7 and we still couldn't stop the run. But Calais Campbell is a run stuffer. He gets his arms up, like on special teams and a couple of pass plays, but he's known for his run stuffing ability. And I think it definitely got exposed last night because the Steelers' offensive line ain't that good, in my opinion. I just think they just had a good.
They had issues all year.
Yeah, they had a good game, and they came out saying that, we gashed them up there in Pittsburgh and they wanted to return the favor. So I think that if we can stop Cincinnati's run game, we know that Joey Burrow is going to get like 400 yards against us. And one of the receivers is definitely going to give over 100 yards, probably 2 of them. But, we just got to score touchdowns. I think that's the main thing with us when we play them in the playoffs. Yeah, I know, because we ain't been scoring touchdowns all fucking year. Did you see this game?
I did watch it. Marcus Peters is out, so yeah. I don't know. Talking about the Cincinnati, hopefully he's back, because George Pickens, I know you saw that one catch he had. Mm-hmm. That was a great catch. I was like, wow, when he caught that, it was a third down ball. He caught him. Deontay Johnson, he made some plays as well and Freiermuth. So, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, and Hayden Hurst, those ain't no slouches either. And like you mentioned, Calais Campbell, I hope he is back, because it's kind of like when the Eagles lost Jordan Mathis. I think that's the guy's name, the D tackle. And people started running on them. Commanders even beat them running the ball. So, like you said, one guy being out, you don't think it'll cause that much impact. But when it's like a marquee guy, captain type guy, Pro Bowl type guy like Calais Campbell, you saw last night how it did have an effect. Now, a lot of the media this week was mentioning how Mike Tomlin uses padded practice on a Friday. I want to ask you think that had any effect, them having a full padded practice going into that game? Like, did you think that made them a little more rougher or tougher, I guess?
It probably did. I didn't hear about that until you just mentioned it. But, that game is so physical. It always is. And, if you can have an edge up one way or another, remind these guys that, we just played them a few weeks ago, but it's about to be physical. And, we have to come out and out physical Baltimore because we're fighting for a playoff spot. They're already in. They're just, the seeding is what we lost in this game.
Yeah.
If they had lost, they would have been eliminated. So yeah, that probably did factor into that.
Yeah. Like you said, this was a slug match. This was basically a old school Steelers Ravens football. Like the thing I do like about you guys, J.K. Dobbins, since he's been back, he has looked really good. I want to see him with Lamar Jackson. Hopefully Lamar will be healthy by the playoffs at least. I don't know if he'll play next week, but hopefully by the time the playoffs start, he'll be healthy. So I want to see how him and J.K. Dobbins look together. Isaiah Likely, I like him. I hope he gets used a little bit more as well. But I got some concerns. Offense side of the ball, you mentioned Greg Roman's name a lot. I'm surprised you didn't have him in the hot seat, even though we was only talking about head coaches. I know you don't really like him.
Put him in the damn corner some damn way. On the fucking, in fact, because I was getting ready to mention the train. Like, what I was going to say before you talked about we go into the other games, is I wish our fans would get an identity, because it's sad when I just think that as a fan base, you should not have to have players and coaches on the sideline going like this to try to get you riled up on defense. And we have to do that because they start the game loud for like the first drive and then they're quiet there. And I've been to games too. And I've been rowdy all game, but it's sad when they got to do that. And then another thing, like they was showing, coming back from one of the commercials last night, they were showing the marching band. And Chris Collinsworth was like, yeah, that's a staple in Baltimore. Kind of reminds me of the Washington, thing. Washington been around since what, the 40s or the 50s, whenever, the 30s, some shit like that. Okay. In my opinion, we kind of stole the marching band from y'all. And then we got the guy that riles up the crowd after a touchdown. Okay. Which a couple weeks ago, when we only scored 3 points, he decided to rile up the crowd because we couldn't get any goddamn thing going. I think it was against the Browns. They only do that after touchdowns where they do the RAVNS cheer. It's kind of like the Fireman Ed with the Jets. Stole that from the fucking Jets too. Like, I don't understand why we can't get our own identity. And I talked about this with another Ravens fan as well. We have the damn, the CSX train right outside the stadium. I think it loops all the way around the stadium and runs all the way through Baltimore. Why can't we do like the, it would kind of be stealing from other teams too, but they do the loud noise or whatever, like on third down or something like that, or they make a big play on defense, or like do the Ravens car noise or something like that. Make something of our own to get us fired up. I just don't understand why we don't have that. That's just a rant. And then another thing, I follow this guy named the Kid Goey on social media. I don't know if you ever seen his stuff. He's a Ravens fan. Familiar. He lives in Baltimore. He goes to a lot of the games, and he's a comedian. And he'll talk about all the sports and big name athletes and stuff. And then he showed a picture of a Steelers fan outside the stadium last night after the game doing the Ray Lewis dance with a terrible cow. Okay. And he was like, Ravens fans, what he compared it to he compared it to the Titans when the Titans came and stepped on our logo a couple years ago. And then we went down to Tennessee in the playoffs and stepped on their logo. Yeah. And he was like, I need the players. He was calling out the players. He was like, I need y'all to have the same energy because this shit can't happen. Like, I know that Steelers fans travel. Steelers fans are the best in the league when it comes to traveling. Between that and they're scattered across the country, so they're already in damn near every city that the NFL has. Damn place. Okay, so I knew that they was going to be loud, and especially like they're known for making the when Freiermuth catches a pass, move. You know what I'm saying? We knew that coming in, but when you got a guy coming out and the Ray Lewis in front of Ray Lewis statue, imitating his dance after the game. And fans gonna be fans, people gonna be people. But we should have closed that damn game out to avoid that, in all honesty. And that, that just ties into the whole identity thing. Like, the damn marching band is from DC. Okay, we stole that from y'all. The fucking Ravens chant is from the Jets. I mean, nobody's more iconic than Fireman Ed up there in New York at MetLife Stadium and the old Giants Stadium with the Jets when he used to do that. Create our own identity to get this crowd going. Like I said, it should not take the players and the coaches to be in a defensive city now, to be riling our fans up and keep us entertained the entire game. To me, it makes no sense. And it drives me crazy every time I watch a home game to where we cannot, the offenses really aren't impacted by us, especially like that. Coming out of like late first quarter into the second, and then of course third quarter into the fourth. Like, we'll get alive late in the fourth if we're coming back, but it's like no consistency out of the fan base. Get it together, Baltimore. Like it's embarrassing. In my
Tell
opinion.
us how you really feel, Brandon. Tell us how you really feel.
Yeah,
God damn,
fired
I feel
up.
you. I hear you. I really do. All right, let's get into these other games. The Cowboys beat the Titans in Thursday Night Football 27-13. Falcons beat the Cardinals 20-19. Cardinals started David Bly quarterback. They were down. Shit, he would have went down. They probably had to get somebody out of the crowd to play.
Yep.
Lions with the Bears 41-10. Justin Fields, he had like 100 yards rushing in the first quarter, but Lions put it on him after that. Jamal Williams had a great game. He and DeAndre Swift. So next week, Packers Lions, I think that would be a good game.
Yep.
Giants beat the Colts 38-10. Giants clinched the playoff berth, as you mentioned earlier. I texted you about this. Kayvon Thibodeau, he sacked Nick Foles and then did the Snow Angel celebration afterwards. I didn't notice at first. I thought he didn't really notice him, but when he was doing the celebration, his hand was hitting Nick Foles' body. I was like, oh, that ain't a good look at all. Then
he also looked over at him once too.
And then he get over to the sideline. He do the Steph Curry sleeping celebration. And then even after that, he, I guess, posted a video on social media, kind of like a playover video about that. So, I mean, I like the nastiness of it, kind of around the old school football. I guess he's trying to be an enforcer type, but that is a classless move, buddy. Ain't a good look, man. Karma, man. Better watch out for that karma. You were dealing with some knee injuries earlier this season, man. So just be careful doing that type of stuff, man. Because that was definitely not a good look, in my opinion. Saints beat the Eagles 20-10. Jaguars crushed the Texans 31-3. And Trevor Lawrence had a quiet game, but didn't really matter. Texans ain't have nothing for him. Chargers beat the Rams 31-10. Austin Eckler, salute to you. You did me really good in fantasy. Browns beat the Commanders 24-10. Carson Wentz came back as quarterback, stunk it up, threw 3 interceptions, didn't have a chance in hell at beating the Browns. Deshaun Watson, he was okay, but, you know, I'm going to get into that a little later. And Seahawks beat the Jets 23-6. Geno Smith, I think he got incentives in his contract. He got an extra $2.5 million. So salute to Geno Smith on his comeback year for him. We'll see how he looks going forward. Before we get into these players of the week, the Commanders. I don't know if we eliminated yet, but we might as well be, man. I mean, we could. Honestly, we would have put Heineke in the game. I think he would have it would have been the same for him. I don't know, man. Our quarterback situation is shit show. We drafted this guy, Sam Howell, this year as a rookie. Hopefully, he'll come next year and be the starting quarterback. I've seen enough of Taylor Heineke and Carson Wentz. I was very optimistic about it, but I was a damn fool. He's done. He's cooked. He's finished. Good luck to you. I don't know if he'll be in the league. We might be with the contract you got with us, but oh boy. All right, you can get to the players of the week now.
Yeah, y'all were eliminated, by the way, with the Green Bay win.
Yesterday. Oh, before I forget, fucking Ron Rivera, he didn't even seem to know. The reporters asked him about it after the game Sunday. He's like, what do you think about the possibility of being eliminated? He was shocked. He kind of clarified his comments later on, but if you watch this initial interview, he was like, huh? We can be eliminated? Like he ain't have a fucking clue about it. So yeah, go ahead.
All right. Turning the page. We really like sending some love to the guys that perform well with their teams. So let's start on the offensive side of the ball. I'm going to go with Daniel Jones in New York. Crazy because it's the guy that I disowned last year in the Tampa Bay primetime game. But he went 19 for 24, 177 and 2 air touchdowns. Plus, as he's done all year, he's used his legs as well. Another 2 touchdowns on 91 yards on the ground. What about you?
I got to give it to the old man, Tom Brady. 3 touchdowns through the air, 432 yards, and he ran for a touchdown. And he had 4 yards rushing, if that matters. So salute to Tom Brady, still getting done at the age of 45.
Defensive player of the week, I'm going to go with Landon Collins. He's not a cover guy, but he had a pick 6 to go along with 4 tackles, coming on strong over the past few weeks. I could also go with Minkah Fitzpatrick. He looked like he just changed his number to 43 for the Steelers. The old Troy Polamalu with that damn interception at the end of the game. But yeah, both safeties could go with defender of the week. What about you?
I'm gonna go with Kyle Duggar of the Patriots. He had a pick six as well, and they probably needed that pick six to win the game. They won 23-21, so that was a crucial play for him. So I give Kyle Duggar my defensive player of the week.
All right, special teams. I'm gonna go with Young Hong Koo with the Atlanta Falcons. One of the better kickers in the league. 2 for 2 field goals, 2 for 2 extra points, plus the game winner from 21 yards out.
I almost went with Jake Camarda, that punter for the Buccaneers. You texted me about that punt he had where it was crazy.
Oh yeah,
I was like, that was a big play because he had put a little.
He made a play out of nothing
there.
though. Yeah,
he put a little speed out there to get away from the defenders and kick the ball off. Even though it was a damn penalty, that could have been disastrous for them. But I'm gonna give it to my guy. I gotta give it some love to the kick returner for the Packers. What's my man named Keyshawn Nixon, who had the 105 kickoff return for a touchdown. So that's my special teams player of the week, Keyshawn Nixon.
Got you.
And now we get to the bonehead play or call of the week. Brandon, who you got?
All right, Sam Darnold, I call him Mr. Ghost. Took the snap, he fumbled just inside 2 minutes of the second quarter, if I'm not mistaken. Instead of falling on it, he tries to make a play, but in typical Darnold fashion, he loses it, and Tampa Bay recovered in Carolina territory, leads to a field goal kind of momentum swing there heading into halftime. He got off a little easy, but damn, again, what a swing of momentum when you were up 14-0 just a few minutes before that happened. What about you?
I'm gonna go a little different direction. My bonehead player call of the week. I'm gonna give it to an entire organization. The Washington Commanders. You were the bonehead team of the week. The decision to start Carson Wentz, that was a big fail. Even though I supported that decision, so I'm gonna be in the bonehead for that as well. But this damn mascot you guys just released, Major Tutty, he loves go-go music and Mambo sings Mambo sauce wings, and he's from Upper Marlboro, Maryland. Give me a fucking break. A damn pig. I know it's a salute to the Hogs in the earlier days in the 80s and 90s, but come on. A goddamn Major Tutty pig is a all right, we'll see. Maybe we'll win some games and Major Tutty will grow on my damn side. I don't know, but that's my bonehead team of the week. Commanders, Ron Rivera.
What got me about that is I just realized, I just saw it on NFL Network after you mentioned it. Plus, we talked about it before we went on the air. But the fact is that they bought out a mascot after they completely failed with the Sean Taylor memorial or the statue.
Damn mannequin at Bodell's.
Y'all should have fixed that before you bought out the mascot. You know what I'm saying? Just hold off the mascot till next year. I know they're said, if I'm not mistaken, they're talking about redoing it during the offseason. I don't know if you heard that or not.
They better shit. Somebody should have got fired over that crap.
Yeah. So they're talking about redoing that, but they should have held off the mascot reveal until after you get it straight with the Sean Taylor thing. To me, that makes no sense. Yeah.
All right, let's get into this Monday night preview. Should be a good one. Bills at the Bengals. Right now, I'm leaning towards the Bengals. I like Joe Burrow a little bit more than I like Josh Allen. Hopefully, Jamar Chase. I say hopefully because I have him in fantasy, so I kind of hope he has a really good game. But I like the Bengals a little bit more in this matchup for some reason. I think the Bills are a little bit better on the defensive side of the ball, but I still like Joe Burrow to pick those guys apart. And I think Joe Mixon can have a nice day on the Bills as well. So I'm gonna go with the Bengals in this one. What about you? How you feeling about this game?
Man, what a game not to have. What a game I think they kind of butchered this. They should have had Peyton and Eli on this game. This is probably going to be one of the better Monday Night Football games, at least heading into it. I would love to have Peyton and Eli with the Manning cast, but I guess we got to watch old Joe Buck and Troy Aikman in this contest. I'm going to agree with you. I'm going with the Bengals in this game. I don't even want the Bengals to lose to help our playoff seeding You know what I'm saying? I'm just going into the playoffs. We're just going to go into the playoffs no matter what, because if they was to lose Cincinnati and we beat them next week, we get the North. If they win tonight, Cincinnati, they clinch the AFC North. But yeah, I do trust Joey Barrow a little bit more than Josh Allen right now. I think the offensive line kind of still concerns me for the Bengals.
Yeah.
The defense, as you said, is a little bit better for the Bills. But I think going into the jungle as well will play a factor into it. That crowd will be into it. They'll make it a little bit difficult for Josh Allen and company to get going. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the Cincinnati Bengals at home in the jungle on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, AFC. I think these are two teams. This is the Chiefs are in there too, but these are definitely the top two teams besides the Chiefs in the AFC, in my opinion. Bills and Bengals. So definitely see how this goes. Hopefully it lives up to the hype. Fantasy purposes, though, I'm playing against Josh Allen, so I don't want it to be too high scoring unless he's giving it to Devin Singletary, because I got him in fantasy too. But we'll see what happens. I'll definitely be watching this game for sure.
Yep. All right. Before we go, a couple housekeeping notes. Be sure to mark your calendar and watch the Cardinals and 49ers game on Sunday. It'll be the end of an era for J.J. Watt, 5-time Pro Bowler, 2-time sack leader, 3-time Defensive Rookie of the Year. Twice in his career, he hit 20 sacks in a single season. And most importantly, he was a Walter Payton Man of the Year winner. When I think about J.J. Watt.
Hall of Famer?
What's that?
First ballot Hall of Famer?
Yeah, should be easily. Yeah. When I think about J.J. Watt, I think about him. I mean, obviously the great defensive player that he was, but his involvement in the Houston community, especially after the multiple natural disasters since he's been in the league, always was a face of the franchise down there, in tough times for sure. Job well done. Now as a Ravens fan, we just got to deal with your brothers in Pittsburgh. So, and TJ Watt is in his prime. And then everyone later this week, be on the watch for the 2023 Gold Jacket finalists. They're coming out on Tuesday night. Keep it locked on your TV, phones, whatever for that. And of course, it won't get much better than it will in Week 18. Battle for the AFC South on Saturday Night Football. That's the Titans and the Jaguars. Of course, the NFC East is still up for grabs. We don't know if Philadelphia or Dallas is going to grab that division, and who will grab the final wild card spot in both the AFC and NFC. Not to mention home field advantage for both conferences are still open as we head into the final week. And I almost forgot, nobody is locked down the number one pick in the 2023 NFL draft. If the Houston Texans win on Sunday, apparently it must be a chance. I think the Bears can end up with the number one spot in the draft if they lose, if I'm not mistaken. I thought that, I guess with Houston winning this past week, that they kind of moved up into the stand. What they beat, beat the Titans, I think, somebody. But yeah, they got their second win of the season. So yeah, cancel your plans for Week 18 because there's a lot on the line. We'll be back later this week to preview everything heading into Week 18. Have a great football week, everyone, and thanks for watching.
Happy New Year, everyone.